Hello YouTube, I am back and I am going to be trying out a new type of series and videos. We'll see how long this one lasts. I know I've tried out a bunch of different types of series and videos on YouTube, but I am back talking about education and teaching. This is going to be my third year teaching in a public elementary school, and I know that sometimes teachers go on YouTube to share tips and tricks and advice and so much more. So I want to try that out, see how it goes, and see if anyone can learn anything from this. So this year I am teaching third grade for the first time, but the past 2 years I have taught kindergarten. And I know it can be a very tricky or scary grade for a lot of people, or fun, depending on your view of the little ones. But I know I was personally very scared to go into teaching kindergarten because I had no experience with it. I student taught second grade and fourth grade before going into my first year teaching kindergarten. So I wanted to let everyone know 10 things I wish I knew before starting teaching kindergarten. Also, keep in mind this could be different depending on what school you're teaching in, what state you're teaching in. Everything is, different based on where you're at. As much as you might think that they might need it, there is no nap time. And at my school, we were not allowed to do anything like nap time. I would occasionally have them rest their heads for a little bit if they needed to, but pretty much full day kindergarten means full day on all the time. No beds, no pillows, no anything, and I would have gotten in big trouble if my principal had walked in and seen my students sleeping. Students are going to be coming in with a huge range of knowledge. So I had students that came into my class not knowing their first name, how to write it, how to read it, not even always responding to it. And I had some students who already could start reading and beginning writing sentences. And that gap kind of closes a little bit more as students get older. But when they're starting out in kindergarten, especially for those who have no experience, even if they went to preschool or parent care centers, anything like that, they have a huge range of knowledge. And that kind of adds to it too, is that I had some students that went to transitional kindergarten or early transitional kindergarten, and some who had zero experience. And that really changed a lot. That, and also how the parents prepared them as well. It was a huge range. Buy a laminator. I only got one that works for a small amount of time, and I wish I had one that worked for longer because I use that thing to death. We had a parent center that would laminate things, but it wasn't fast enough for me. I needed things to be laminated really quickly, and I needed a lot laminated because if your school like mine, you're not going to be doing a lot of cutting and pasting and paperwork. You're going to be doing a lot of centers. And unless you have a ton of money to drop on Lakeshore or any kind of teacher website, you're going to need that laminator to laminate centers and games and all sorts of learning activities for your students. It is very important to have that laminator. Also because kindergartners tend to break and make things messy really easily. And if it's laminated, there's less likely you're going to have to be replacing it all the time. Don't be afraid to go on Pinterest and Teachers Pay Teachers. I personally spent way too much money on Teachers Pay Teachers my first year and into my second year of teaching kindergarten. But there's a lot of good resources on both those websites. Usually you can find things for free, or you can kind of see previews of stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers and make it yourself if you have the time and the know-how. But definitely check them out because even though you don't want to do a lot of worksheets, there's good centers on there. Sometimes you have to do worksheets depending on how many students you have and if you have a TA or not. So just make sure you check out those websites because they do have some good free resources and some good resources that you have to pay for but aren't too much, or you can make on your own and get inspiration from. Maybe I'll link some of the free ones below. Would depend on your program and also what you do at your school. But something I found that was very important my second year of teaching kindergarten that I didn't touch on as much the first year is to not skip on phonemic awareness. I had so many readers in my class my second year of teaching kindergarten, and I think that is mostly due to doing phonemic awareness 10 to 15 minutes a day, every single day, the entire year. That's not something I did too much my first year teaching for one reason or another, but I hammered it home in my second year of teaching kindergarten, and I had so many more students reading at and above grade level than the year before. Of course, not all my students because of that wide range of learners, but so many more of my students were able to read at the end of the year, and that was the major difference and the major change in my classroom. Expect the unexpected. Sure, you have a lesson plan every day, and you have goals and lessons, objectives that you want to reach all the time, but most likely every day you're going to have things happen that make it so you don't get through those lessons or you have to adjust. It's okay to not be okay and to ask for help. There will be a lot of times that you feel overwhelmed and a lot of times that you might get pushback from parents or from other teachers or administrators. But what you need to do instead of pushing people away is you need to try to build those relationships and get help from parents, administrators, other teachers when needed. This might be the first time those kids are in school, and therefore you're going to be dealing with a lot more issues. It's a lot to take on as one teacher, especially when you have 20 plus students to take care of and they all want that one-on-one attention. You're going to most likely need help. Make sure that you get to know your students on a personal level. I don't think this only applies to kindergarten, but it's really important to them, going off on what I was saying for number 7 of them just being the center of attention. You want to, as much as you can, get to know them and about their life so that they feel like they're a part of your class and that you do care about them. And it's hard when you have a lot of students, but you need to put in that effort to get to know them a little bit better so they feel like you're invested in them. Number 9 is a two-parter. It's to make sure that you're connecting with other kindergarten teachers, either in your school or in your community or even online, to ask for help. Like I said before, ask for help and also get inspiration from those other classes, because if it's your first time teaching kindergarten or being in a kindergarten classroom besides being a kid, it's especially important to know and get ideas from other teachers. This also comes with a caveat or other part to make sure that you are being true to your own way of teaching and you're not trying to just act like another teacher, do something that's out of your comfort zone. You always want to be growing as a teacher and learning, but you never want to do something that feels forced or fake. And if it's not in your personality to teach a certain way or set up your classroom a certain way, don't do it unless it's absolutely crucial. I find that my classroom is not the same as other teachers' classrooms in the same grade, whether I'm teaching kindergarten or whether I'm teaching 3rd grade. People have different ways of setting up their classroom and seeing how it works for them, and that's okay as long as it works for the students and works for your class. Probably cliche to say, but I want to end it on a positive note, so have fun. Kindergarten can be a lot of fun amidst all the drama and hard work, so make sure that you are doing fun activities with your students, that they're really enjoying learning and learning to love how to learn, because for a lot of them it's their first time in school, and if it's a positive experience, they will carry that throughout the rest of their school experience. If it's a negative experience, it might be harder for them to be excited about school going forward. It might sound like a lot of pressure, but kindergartners are pretty easy to please. My students always love to read aloud, Knuckle Bunny, the cat, just anything where a little bit of silliness or a little bit of activity can be added into the equation. And even though I'm not a kindergarten teacher this year, and who knows if I'll end up teaching kindergarten again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, or you can always find me on my social media websites as well. I talk about teaching and other things on those websites. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. I hope you like my teaching videos, and I plan to make more soon throughout the year.